Hello and welcome to the program. This is another podcast for the Diplomat, and with me today is Cooper Lopez, the ambassador for Timor-Leste in Phnom Penh. Cooper, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's been a very interesting year with ASEAN being hosted by Cambodia and Timor-Leste's attempts at gaining entry to ASEAN. It didn't happen. Why not?
So Timor-Leste is basically we are the part of the region. We have a right to join this region for ASEAN. So Timor-Leste, we submitted a formally application to apply to be a member of ASEAN since 2011. And so let's say today is 2022. So it's almost 11 years now.
It's a long process.
Very long, very long.
I think your Prime Minister said it was easier to get into heaven
Sir,
than it is to
our
get
president,
into
Sir
ASEAN.
Ramsota. So, we, Timor-Leste, in terms of the technically requirement, the ASEAN needs, for political pillar, political and security pillar, and a social cultural pillar, and also economic pillar. We completed already
Right.
in the last 2 months, and there's some ASEAN member delegation went to Delhi and to have an assessment this, and based on all the information from the Cambodia as a chairmanship of ASEAN, and principally is the performance, all this technical team is excellent.
Right.
No doubt. So now we are we are expecting for this year, and with the next summit, next summit of ASEAN in November, we believe that there is going to have a consensus. Hopefully, will be announced in Cambodia. Timor-Leste become a formal member of ASEAN,
Right.
and can be celebrate of the party. The wedding party will be celebrated in Jakarta.
Okay. So do you
Under
think
Indonesia?
it will be announced at the Leaders Summit in November in Cambodia, or
Well, a big possibility will be in Cambodia.
right?
Will Cambodia, and as everyone know, Cambodia is very consistent, very vocal, who are supported Timor-Leste to be a 11 member of ASEAN, and so now it depends on how Cambodia, as a chairman of ASEAN, to convince to have a consensus with the other 9 members of ASEAN can be announced here.
And this would pave the way for East Timor's entry in 2023 under Indonesia's chairmanship.
For sure. Basically it's going to be similar like during the Cambodian accession to
Right.
ASEAN, and in the past under Vietnam chairmanship. Then they had a consensus between ASEAN member state, and then allow Cambodia in 1999.
Right.
So it's going to be in a similar path.
Okay.
Similar path.
I understand that Singapore is the one country that seems to have some objections. I've heard various arguments put out. One was that East Timor lacks the institutions and would require financial aid to cover its membership. Another is that East Timor has there are concerns about East Timor's relationship with Beijing, and given Chinese expansion into the South Pacific, that has caused a lot of consternation and in many ways split the group. What do you say to those sorts of critics?
Well, recently the Timor-Leste Minister of Foreign Affairs, and during on the occasion of AMM RF meeting in Cambodia just recently, and the Timor-Leste Minister of Foreign Affairs, and had a bilateral meeting with her counterpart, His Excellency Minister Vivian. So based on the discussion, Singapore explained that it's not in principally for the technical team, for the based on the fact-finding mission.
Right.
Where they will see and how the result of fact-finding mission. I think it's everyone is normal. Timor-Leste is a post-conflict country, and they worry about for the Timor-Leste economy. And we believe that we also have a plan to have a diversify our economy from the oil, the crude oil and gas, and to diversify to the area of agriculture and to increase more for tourism and other sector. And in order to have a balance, because we never guarantee that in the next 20 or 30 years, is oil and gas cannot be guaranteed for to continue to be existed as
Right.
a main priority or main income of our country. Yeah, so I believe for this year, and it's going to be have a big determination between member of ASEAN state to decide Timor-Leste to be 11 member of ASEAN.
Given the historical difficulties between East Timor and Indonesia, and a lot of those issues seem to have been fixed, do you think it's appropriate that Indonesia shepherds East Timor into ASEAN?
Well, Indonesia is one of two advocate initially 2011 under the SBI
Right.
leadership.
Bambang
leadership,
Yudhoyono.
yeah,
Yep.
Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. And so I think for Timor-Leste, diplomatic relationship between Jakarta and Dili, I think we are very unique. Have a bilateral diplomatic relationship. Even we have some bitter in the past, but today, based because of our figure, charismatic leader Sanana Gusmao, and current President Jose Ramos Horta and other historical leaders, we come with the one commitment that is we need to have a national reconciliation with the Indonesian military. We have to look forward. The past become our footnote, and then we have to look forward to the wallet for the prosperity of the between two nations.
Indonesia has backed East Timor's entry into ASEAN pretty much since
Yes, so
all the way
Indonesia
through.
very supported
Yep.
Timor-Leste initially since 2011. Always continue to support. As you know, that recently President Jose Ramos Horta had a state visit to Jakarta and makes some statement there.
Right.
As everyone know, that is one of the requirement of Timor-Leste accessing to ASEAN is like accessing to the heaven is much more easier rather than to reach the gate of ASEAN or something like that.
Indeed. Dili also was criticised for its stance on Myanmar. I think it was a decision not to sign off on the UN General Assembly's condemnation of the coup. What is East Timor's position on Myanmar?
Well, our Timor-Leste position based on our diplomatic note, our minister declare, and our president also, we prefer to have a diplomatic dialogue, and we are Timor-Leste are supported for the 5-point consensus, which all member of ASEAN state, which they approved in last year in Jakarta. For how to all-inclusive dialogue to get involved everyone there to find a solution and the situation to have a new normalcy and preparation for the next election, general election in Myanmar. That's what we expecting. and you know that Timor-Leste is we are a small country, we are a very democratic country, and so we hopefully for this is not to lecture any country, but is a good example in this region as well.
I think one of the reasons I'm asking this is because this troika has emerged between Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, within ASEAN, and much of that has to do with shared Islamic sympathies with the Rohingya, and East Timor being a Christian country should be able to identify with those sympathies as well. Indonesia has kind of touted that there'll be a much harsher line taken against Myanmar, and given your country's close association with Jakarta over the last 10 years, I'm sort of wondering where East Timor will fall in the kind of, ASEAN doesn't like to talk of factions, but I can see you smiling. But I am wondering, where will Dili fall in the greater equation when it comes to Myanmar? And it's a serious question. The execution of the 4 pro-democracy advocates just before the last ASEAN Foreign Ministers Summit really shook people. I mean, hardened foreign ministers were really quite upset by what had happened in Yangon.
Yes, so there is because, and the ASEAN, because Timor-Leste is not a member of ASEAN yet.
Yes, I do.
But because of as a member of UN, as a sovereign country, so, and we are all respect for ASEAN member of state regarding for ASEAN way.
Mm-hmm.
ASEAN centrality, they have a main one, the important thing to resolve the case or something, whether is ASEAN way is relevant or not relevant. That depends on the 10 member of ASEAN state. But we are continue to support for the all ASEAN member state how to implement it, fully implemented of the 5-point consensus.
Right.
That is a very important, because it's almost 2 years now, 1.5 years now. Mm-hmm. And Cambodia itself, under the chairmanship of ASEAN, for the special envoy of Cambodia is His Excellency Minister of Foreign Affairs, Praksakon, visited in Myanmar, and
Praksakon also came back and said even Superman cannot resolve the problems of Myanmar.
So that's why. But at least they have a commitment and very serious.
Yeah.
And then we all supported all these
Cambodia
initiative.
Cambodia was widely criticised for attempting to negotiate with the junta in Myanmar. Do you think those criticisms were unfair?
Well, so far, I think I don't have to go to beyond much about.
Sure. And I know you're not in ASEAN yet,
but principally, even recently for I'm myself also, I accompany my minister to participate for the ARF, Asian Regional Forum, and they have a very good, everyone, all the member of ASEAN criticizing, they raise the issue of, highlight the issue of Myanmar. Even my minister itself, and regarding for the statement, our position also very clear. We are committing, more or less their commitment, how we're going to resolve the case of Myanmar. And also that is what is happening now in Russia. Russia aggression to Ukraine, and Timor-Leste, we have a very tough human rights record.
Yes.
For 24 years we had an experience, so we want for any country to have a territorial ambition to invite or to have an aggression to another territorial integrity. So we are totally opposed to this. That is our main priority of foreign policy. So we will see what happens. Hopefully, for by the end of this year, we have a good sign for to have at least have a fully implemented of 5-point consensus. Another 3 or 4 months to go, and we will see.
Do you think ASEAN should, will, or is it inevitable that ASEAN negotiates with the National Unity Government of Myanmar?
Well, I think as ASEAN, and you all know, you all media also know the 5-point consensus.
Sure.
Part of these things or something.
And towards the last ARF, it was implied that this would happen.
But at least for the recently, everyone there, they talking to each other. They come with a very different, but they can shake hands. All the leader there, even from Russia, from China, US, and we are very happy, you know. Everyone is Cambodia very successful for to organizing this AMM meeting because it's bring everybody to Cambodia and gathering here, and so shouted each other, screaming each other, criticizing on each other, but they shake hands, they see together, and to find a good solution for our region and the world.
Currently, President Ramos Horta is in Australia. How are relations with Australia? And there's a new government, a left-wing Labor Party government is now in power after 10 years, a decade of conservative government. How are things changing in relationship with Australia and the South Pacific? East Timor has a very unique position in that it straddles Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands as well. How do you see things going forward with the new relationships that are evolving?
Well, basically, Timor-Leste and Australia, we have as a neighboring country, but we used to say that for Australia and Timor-Leste, we are in one house, only different rooms.
Okay.
So Australia been supported, facilitated for multinational force during the referendum in 1999, and also we have a brief military conflict. Also, Australia and one of our neighboring country contributed a lot for Timor-Leste stability and peace. And I think is important for our president, Jose Ramos Horta, when he is elected, and he declared publicly that is the first country must be visited is two giant country, Jakarta and Canberra, to explore official visit to explore and to strengthening for Timor-Leste relationship with Canberra and Timor-Leste, and to explore more, have more ideas how we can to see the sunrise field can be have a benefit for
the sunrise
for both countries.
Right, and the sunrise you're referring to the oil.
Yeah, and
the oil and gas fields.
Oil and gas, greater sunrise.
Sure.
That is a very important, and how the Cambodian or Timor-Leste to be a resilient country, we must have a strong foundation of our economy.
Sure.
That is very important, and how Australian role as one of developing country, as I mentioned earlier, that we are in one house, only different rooms. You cannot let the next room to you will be in suffer or in prosper.
Sure.
Of course, the whole house will be destroyed or something like that.
Yep.
That's why the important our commitment for our president to. Right now he's in Canberra, and I believe that is for the new government of Labour
Mm-hmm.
under His Excellency Albanese, and he's a very old friend with His Excellency President Jose Ramos Horta, and with our historical leader Sanana Guzmão, and other leader like Maria Alcater. They are very good friends, and they are very committed. And Labour Party also in the past supported Timor-Leste to be independent, and no doubt for our president visit.
East Timor's foreign policy seems to be very much committed towards Indonesia, ASEAN, Southeast Asia, Australia by virtue of geography, and as you say, we all live in the same house. Where will East Timor stand on issues such as China in the Pacific, in particular what's happened in the Solomon Islands of late? And a lot of these smaller nations are being torn between West, China, traditional relationships. I think the Solomon Islands has issues going back to World War II. But how does East Timor see itself in evolving relations with the South Pacific Islanders?
Well, Timor-Leste have a very, as you know, as a journalist, you know that in the past, during the Suharto, we are Timor-Leste under Suharto regimes, Timor-Leste have a very strong support from the Pacific Island, and we have a very good diplomatic relationship, and so that's why is as I mentioned earlier, that the important in how the for in the region, we count Australia as the most important country, as an industrial country. How Australia to play the role can facilitate for all this in Pacific and also in the region, including Timor-Leste, to have a resilient economy, have a sustainability of the economy. All this depends of the economy. When if your people are prosper, the job is available, everything something.
And there's many East Timorese living and working and count themselves as Australians as well.
Yeah, so of course, and so I think it's one of important thing for our president in Australia will discuss with his counterpart to about for the labor mobility. Then skill is not only for like foreign remittances, but we have to count how the proper skill and the young people can have to learn more from Australian and to bring back, have a transfer skill into Timor-Leste to develop our country. When the economy is strong, I think is in the future also politically will be stable and country will prosper. More Australia can come because Australian is our beach is very beautiful beach and have beautiful mountains, and we need to have a very good connectivity between Australia and mostly people from Melbourne, Sydney, Darwin. They love to come and visit Timor-Leste, but the only
access is difficult.
Access is difficult because the plane air ticket is very expensive.
Yes, it is. I've made the trip.
Yeah, one way only for 700, 800 US dollars. So, and if you return almost 2,000 US dollars. So if 2,000 US dollars is spent in Bali or in Cambodia, you can
go a long way. Gazing into your crystal ball, how do you think Timor-Leste will shape up 10 years from now?
Oh, well, we are very optimistic. So important for them, we are optimistic for next 10 years come. And if we access to formally ASEAN member state endorse Timor-Leste this year, for example, announced under Cambodian chairmanship, they announced here, then will be celebrate in Jakarta in 2023. Can be like this, and so we start to be member of ASEAN, and we believe that the Timor-Leste economy will be much more higher because there is a competition between member states of ASEAN. Timor-Leste will get a much more benefit, and where there is no competition, it's hard. We can have to hard working to learn in all aspects. And also our oil and gas, for especially Greater Sunrise. If we hopefully soon next year will be start to develop because of good cooperation with the two states and depend of the joint venture company will be having a capacity to because it's based on public demand and our people want for pipeline must be pulled into Timor-Leste, and then we already prepare all the infrastructure like a highway and in some area of South Coast or something like that. That is a big good for to have an employed more local people, and also important for to attract FDA, at least something something have a real there and make it to encourage more people to come and invest in Timor-Leste. Because it's, then we can diversify this economy for people can come more to develop more in the area of industry of tourism, for example, like a basic tourism infrastructure, like to improve more water and sanitation. We need to have an international hospital, good international hospital. We need to have a good international airport, not only in capital Dili, but we have to develop more in the area of parts of the east. It's much more have a space to have an international airport there, area of Baucau. And also we have a very potential for a special economy zone in enclave Ekosi. And now we have infrastructure is everything. We have a good airport there already. Could develop more for next 10 years, and people come from Indonesia, come from ASEAN, they can come and visit there because Ekosi also have a very good, we have a very good 500 years of the fresh Christianity, the Catholic came into Timor-Leste, and that is very important the island. And Australian people can more come to Ekosi. And for the next 10 years come, I think we believe that Timor-Leste is one of not a very rich, but at least have a middle income based on our guidance, our master plan for 2011-2030 to have Timor-Leste become a middle income economy. But that will depend all. We need to have a very solid. Important for political stability is number one. Sometimes it's too liberal also is hard.
It's always a balance.
Always a balance.
On that note, Coopers Lopez, the ambassador for Timor-Leste in Phnom Penh, who has had a rather interesting year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my great friend. Soon to be catch up with you, and hopefully my president state visit, Jose Ramos Horta, and you will catch up. I will inform His Excellency.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.